looking for the pulse of Tampa-based sports. Beckles and Recher is the #1 source. The new dog, raising up the bar. Intelligent sports talk in your own backyard. Ain't no competition, ask the fans why. Beckles and Recher got it by a landslide. Don't fret, microphone check, stand by. Yo, Bucs, where they at? Where my two favorite guys? Here they go. 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 Here they go.
All right. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Welcome back to the Beckles and Recher podcast.
We're out here.
We out here at the Dignitary Cafe. We got the engineers, Chris Fraley, Tom Ponzo, keeping us right. So we got a wonderful podcast for y'all today. How you doing, young man? All dapper
I'm all
and whatnot.
dapped up.
So you have tigers.
Are we scooting in?
You have tigers on your
in.
shoes.
You got a line on your chest.
You got tigers on your shoes and butterflies on your chest. So
Yes,
are you a
we're native.
badass or are you a lover? Which one are you?
I'm a lover, not a
Are
fan.
you a papillon
Both.
or are you a badass beast?
Both.
You're both. Damn, best of both worlds, right?
Right.
Are you Jay-Z or R. Kelly? Neither one of them's great right now.
Whoa,
Neither one of them's great
wow.
right now. I don't even know which one I'd rather be. I don't know which one I'd rather be right now.
Jeezy.
Jay-Z's gonna hit. It's gonna hit Jay-Z. You know that, right?
It is.
It's gonna hit him, dog. Because there's no videos without him in it with Diddy. There's no he's in all the videos. I don't know if that's gonna turn out well for him.
For a long time, it was, oh, well, at least you're not R. Kelly, Jay-Z.
Yeah, well.
Now it's like, you're not any
Yeah,
better.
right? Seriously, though.
Not any better.
And you know, if you look back, and listen, I know you're a Jay-Z fan. You know what's funny?
Always.
I'm a Jay-Z fan, too. Big fan. But when you look back at it, there's a lot of stories with Aaliyah and a lot of... He was
Yeah.
dating a lot of very young people, brother.
A lot of people in that scene.
A lot. Too much.
History is not, like, looking
Nope.
fondly on a lot of
No, it's not.
hip-hop folks.
It's not.
Where did it all start? You know where this all started? Last year? The beginning of last year?
Where did it start?
The reveal.
Real
Cat
what?
Williams going on Shannon
Oh,
Sharp.
yeah. He opened
started-
up the can.
You know how many
Yeah.
people? It was so funny. I just watched the most recent one with Damon Wayans.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very good conversation.
I've seen
Because
some
Damon's
clips.
like, Marlon was good,
Yeah.
but obviously Marlon's a little brother, so his perspective is a lot different. And of course, you know the Wayans brothers, so all of them so extremely talented.
So talented.
But to hear from Damon,
Yeah.
because one of my favorite movies of all time, Major Pain.
Great movie.
Like it's on a completely
It is.
different level than like you could have a lot of favorite movies,
Yeah.
and then Major Pain is in there, and it's like
You
completely.
know what's funny? I
out
didn't
left
want to
field.
like it.
Why?
I didn't. No, it was my kids were watching it, right?
Yeah, okay.
So I sat down and watched it, and I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be. And I watched it, and I watched it, and I watched it, and I laughed, and I watched it,
Hilarious,
and I
man.
laughed, and I watched it again.
You know who's in that movie too?
Who's in it?
Fresh Prince,
Well, Hillary Banks is also in the best comedy of all time.
Ladies Man.
Ladies Man.
There you go.
Just trying to tell you.
Common themes.
That's what I'm saying.
But he was on there. Damon was on there, and just talking about Shannon says something to the effect of, "Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but I had Cat Williams on here," and he's like,
Everybody saw that. Everybody saw it.
Everybody.
It's probably the most ballistic interview I've ever seen. How many excerpts came from it? 100? He said 100 things. You're like, what?
Was he wrong?
Nobody said anything.
But it was so clairvoyant that in the next 2 years, year and a half, a lot of that stuff came out. You see a lot of not a lot of people are not corroborating with his stories.
You know what Cat Williams did though, which was brilliant? Show timelines.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, I was offered this movie,
Yes.
and they said if he didn't have to give up his virginal bunghole, but Kevin Hart got it coincidentally."
And then he was talking about how everybody dresses up like a woman in Hollywood.
Everybody.
All their wives look
Everybody.
the same. And I was like,
Everybody.
exposing.
Well, I don't. It makes me feel almost like my childhood was a farce in a way.
No, I'm with you. It's almost
See what I'm
it's in
saying?
the same kind of thought process of when people say don't meet your heroes, right? Because
Yeah,
then you're like,
Yeah.
like if you build certain things up, and there's just when it comes to movies and when it comes to music, they could do no wrong, really. They could do no wrong because it was part of my childhood. You believe what you want to believe, you like what you want to like. Then things come out and you're like, damn.
But don't you want, and this is from me, okay? I want the people in my life to be as real as can be. I just said this the other day. If you're an a-hole and you go, I'm an a-hole, we're going to get along. We're going to be fine. Yeah, as long as you have self-awareness.
Right.
There was nothing more homophobic than rap music. Nothing. And if you find out that Busta Rhymes and Tupac and Biggie and Diddy and blah, blah, and we're all gay, it just makes it hypocritical.
So that's where
hypocritical as hell, doesn't it? It was so homophobic. But everybody in the game was gay, though. It sounds like everybody in the game was gay. They all went through Diddy. They all went through that house. You know what I was saying the other day? And tell me if I'm wrong with this one. I'm old enough to, in 1995, I could have been invited to a Diddy party. I'd have been in that bitch in a second.
Yeah.
And Diddy would be like, what's up, big man? Here's a drink. And I'd have grabbed the drink. That's what would have happened. Then I'd have left home.
You're saying it didn't happen?
No, it didn't happen. Maybe I'm not good enough to be invited. But I would have just left the room. I would have left the house, like, all wide-eyed and bushy-tailed.
You wouldn't know any
better. You
can't
say nothing.
What are you supposed to say?
What are you going to say? I got raped? Or I got this and... Who am I going to say it to?
What are you going to say it for?
Diddy rape me? Nobody's going to listen to that. Nobody. So now I got to live with that the rest of my life. And people like Justin Bieber, he's wearing it on his sleeves, brother. He's wearing it. Usher's not okay. All these guys, man.
Not okay.
And Usher's parents and and Justin Bieber's parents, shame on you.
Right.
Shame on you. Seriously.
Well, it was like, too, when they had the roast of Justin Bieber and Kevin Hart was talking about the guy that found Justin Bieber. He was like, you found him in the middle of the night? Like you were just going through the internet? You were going through the internet and you found this kid? And
yeah, right. Good.
Now they're not together? Like his Scooter or Spencer or something like that?
It's a lot of stuff.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little sports here. I'm sure we'll get back and everything else. But we'll start with the Buccaneers and more conversations about this kid, Matthew Golden, who's supposed to be the fastest receiver out of the draft. You know, Tet McMillan. There's a lot of guys out there, but I don't want to talk about necessarily guys specifically. I want to ask you about taking a wide receiver at 19, knowing that there are so many more holes to fill on this team defensively. You know, I hear that, and then I feel like people fall in love too much before the draft, and you're probably the perfect guy to ask this. Like, go get another wide receiver, go get a star running back. Like, that doesn't, look at what Zeke Elliott and Saquon Barkley, even Christian McCaffrey to a lesser extent. Obviously, they went to the Super Bowl a couple times, but I mean, these teams that aren't good, they draft these running backs, they draft these skill position players, and like the Falcons drafted Kyle Pitts. What did that do for them? He's not even playing well.
Not even good.
So I don't know, man. I don't know what you would say about this situation, but I don't want any part of a wide receiver at number 19 with the Buccaneers. You need to rush the passer better. You need a linebacker next to Levante. You need a corner. Jamel Dean cannot be a starting corner if you're going to think you're going to go deep into the playoffs. Am I bugging out, or are you with me here where I'm not saying don't draft a wide receiver at all, but if you take him at 19 back, I don't know if that's such a smart idea.
Well, I mean, for me, it's impossible to answer that without being in a war room and knowing how good that number 19 wide receiver is.
But does it matter?
Yeah, it does. It does because.
But doesn't your positional availability have something to do with it? Because as much as people want to say, I'm going to take the best player available, you're not always doing that. Because if you have a star and you have a franchise quarterback and you pick at number 3 and a quarterback is the highest rated person, you're not taking him. If you have a star left tackle, if the best player available for the Bucs at 19 is a left tackle, they're not taking him.
No.
Because they have Tristan Wirfs.
No, but they do have a list of wants, and I guarantee that it's wide receiver, tight end, defensive end, corner. Okay, it doesn't have to be in that order, okay? Once you get to that 19th pick, it's not about having to pick a position. It's having to pick it's still the best available. It's not the best guy available. It's the best guy that we need. Because if you look at this Buccaneer team, and every team out in the NFL, it's constructed of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th rounders, okay? No doubt. So if you see a guy in the 19th pick that maybe shouldn't be there at wide receiver, you're like, damn, he's still there. We had him rated 12. Pick him. Because you still might get that starting corner or defensive end in the 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round. Our whole team is McMillan. What round did he go in? I don't know a round. It wasn't very high,
3rd,
was
4th,
it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the thing.
But that's my point. I mean, you already have your 3rd receiver that you really like, your third, what is this guy going to be at the very best, your third or fourth receiver? You need a guy right now that's going to help you. And if there are multiple options there at the end or outside linebacker or whatever, or interior inside linebacker or corner or safety or D tackle to go with those guys, I would take all 5 of those positions before I ever take a wideout, knowing that this team is good when they do what? Run the football, play action, keep the heat off of Baker Mayfield. You got Mike healthy. Chris is on his way back. You have Jalen McMillan. I just feel like we fall in love with these positions sometimes where I don't think good teams do that. I don't think good teams get a wideout with their first pick, knowing that they have deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball. You don't see a team like Philadelphia doing that. They don't have as much depth at the wideout position as the Bucs, but what do? They draft the ends, they draft D tackles, they draft a bunch of guys on the defensive side of the ball. If I'm emulating anybody, I'm not emulating teams that draft Kyle Pitts in the first round or Ezekiel Elliott or Saquon Barkley. Give me what the Niners and the Eagles do.
Well, this is what's hard, okay? I can't, in my right mind, say that Kyle Pitts was a bad draft pick because everybody thought he was going to be good. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but it's hard because if you had to bet your house before the league, I'd have said I think he's going to be good because he was amazing in college.
He's going to be good.
Okay,
to warrant that draft.
But nobody knows who's going to be good, great, and a Hall of Famer. Nobody knows.
Would you be comfortable if the Bucs or a team like that took a tight end with the top 10 pick?
Sure.
You have a top 10 pick for a reason.
If he's really, really good, and that's the thing, though.
How many tight ends have worked out in the top 10 picks? Not enough.
If every player in the draft has a rating, okay? The rating's going to be, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, he's going to be a great starter, he's going to be a backup player, whatever it may be the ratings are, okay? So in the 19th pick, if there's a wide receiver that you think could be a Hall of Famer and all the other positions that you need could be a starter, but you would never think that, go ahead and pick that guy still. Because it doesn't mean that this guy, you can find your receiver starter in the 7th round. That's a possibility. But if you think unequivocally that's the guy, pick him. Never go buy a guy that you think can be great. Because the Bucs don't need one player. The Bucs don't need, if I say give me one position where we have to improve next year, you can't give it to me.
On the defensive side of the ball.
Okay, but that's
not offense.
That's a lot of,
how do guys make the Hall of Fame?
Sure, but what if Randy Moss is sitting there at 18?
How do guys make the Hall of Fame, though?
What do you mean how they make the Hall of Fame?
They play games.
Okay.
They get repetitions.
All right.
This guy is not going to be a surefire starter this year.
But you still have to evaluate them as where you think they're going to be. Jonathan Ogden had a grade. Ian Beckles had a grade. Tony Mayberry had a grade.
Did you start as a freshman, as a rookie?
Yeah.
This guy's not going to start as a rookie.
Well, you don't know that. We don't know anything. We don't know anything, Jay. That's what's crazy about football. We don't know anything.
For other teams, I'd agree with you, Ian. Mm-hmm. We're talking about the Bucs. You're talking about what they have as an established. You're not drafting an offensive lineman at 19. He could be the best player there. He could be a guy that you look at and you'd be like, he's a Hall of Famer. He could be a Hall of Fame tackle. You're not taking
other teams do that though. You know that, right? Other teams do.
You're not taking a non-rotational position with the 19th pick if you have a guy there.
Sometimes people pick guys like, why you need that guy? Because he's freaking good.
For rotational positions, right?
I don't care what. Listen, there's certain positions you can't have too many guys. Like, how many times you see in free agency, so-and-so picked up, the Eagles picked up, I'm like, what? We need rushers. They don't need nobody. So if you can get a bona fide football player.
But that's a rotational position, right? You're rotating guys in. You're not rotating offensive linemen. Bad teams rotate offensive linemen. The reason why guys like Aaron Rodgers getting drafted sticks out.
Because he's quarterback and that's it.
Well, no, also because they had a quarterback. That wouldn't have been nearly as high profile if Brett Favre wasn't the quarterback.
There's never been a high-profile player that wasn't a quarterback, though.
No, I understand
you know
that.
What I'm saying?
But what I'm saying is the reason why people make a lot of noise about that pick is because Brett Favre still had some years left in the tank. Mm-hmm. Same thing as when they drafted Jordan Love. But they don't talk about that in other positions. There's only one quarterback that can play at a time.
Correct.
Right? But there's also other positions where there's only so many receivers that you can play at a time. So to have a guy that's surefire, and you can't plan. You've told me this before. You can't plan on health. Mm-hmm. To draft the wide receiver at 19, that at the very best is going to be your 4th best receiver in a year when you're trying to win right now. Mike Evans isn't getting any younger.
You don't know he's going to be the 4th best receiver. You don't know that because there's some rookies got in the league last year with the best receiver. Justin Jefferson's the first receiver. I know he's number 1. So you just don't know. You're expecting, but you don't know. That's the thing.
We know that these guys are not coming up. The guys that are going to be there at 19 are not at the same level in college that Justin Jefferson was. Justin Jefferson was coming out of a team with LSU, with Joe Burrow. He played with Jamar Chase. Like, people knew that this kid was going to be special.
Where did Jamar Chase go? Number?
He was a top 10 pick.
Yeah, right? but 1 to 20.
But again,
there's
Ian,
still a lot of guys who are great at 15, man.
Ian, neither one of those guys went into a situation where there was a Mike Evans there. One of them. They didn't go into a situation where there was Evans and Godwin there.
Sure.
They didn't go to a situation where there's Evans, Godwin, and Jalen McMillan. I'm not saying never draft a wide receiver at 19. I understand what you're saying. My issue is that I don't think the Buccaneers, where the way that their roster is constructed, if across the board defensively they were good, offensively they were good, and you're telling me that it's a luxury pick, and then you want to have the conversation of Mike's not getting any younger, I'm all on board. But when you're telling me that you're banking on Servassier Dennis, a guy that had season-ending surgery last year, to be the starting inside linebacker against Levante David in his mid to late 30s, and then your corner is Jamel Dean, who can't stay on the field, and your pass rush, you can't get home with 4, there's 3 glaring needs on the defensive side of the ball, and there are options there in the first round. So I think it would be a wasteful pick because of where the Buccaneers are as a franchise to take a wide receiver at 19.
You're not wrong with what you said. You're absolutely not wrong. But I'm going to say this. Us talking about the Bucs taking a receiver because that's the rumors is a lot of wasted
Rumor
fodder.
has it
It's a lot of
shaken.
wasted fodder because if they really liked the receiver, we wouldn't know about it. Straight up. We would not know about it. No,
that's where it is right
it's
there.
Almost
They
never pick who they say.
That's exactly where it is right there.
That's what it is.
So when people come out right now and they're talking about the receiver and, this guy's getting a visit and this guy's getting a visit. Oh, look, this means this means that. Listen to what Ian just said. That is one of the most important things that you're going to hear all day long. You may think, they do this and reading the tea leaves. I'm reading what the roster is. I'm looking what the team did last year. I'm not looking at top 30 visits because if it was a top 30 visit that really meant, you know what I mean? Like they're not going to expose their hand at 19. I would like for them to trade down.
I love at this time of the year when everybody goes, "You hear the rumors?" And I ask people, "Where do you think the rumors come from?" No, but seriously, because I'm just telling you, who's in the Buccaneers war room? There's the scouts. There's the coaches. There's no players in there. There's front office people. He's gonna tell anybody what they're doing. You're not allowed to even see the board. Nobody.
You want to see it bad.
Of course I want to see the board.
Bad.
Of course I would love. I even asked Brian
thing.
Ford one day. I go, "Hey, one day can I be in there with you guys?" He goes, "Nope." That was it.
Can't do it.
Nope. Like they probably don't want somebody to see the process
at all.
Everybody probably has a different process, and I don't know how it works. I think it'd be fascinating to watch.
Isn't it crazy too? Like, and I don't know if you haven't seen Need for Speed, the F1 on Netflix, right? So Lewis Hamilton, who's going to go down as one of the greatest of all time, when they did
He's a brother, right?
Yeah.
So
F1, obviously the racing, and the great Paul Kennedy from FanDuel, from Bally FanDuel Sports for the Lightning, such a great man. He goes, "You should watch this." I'm like, "Paul, I'm not really a big car guy. Like, it's not." He goes, "Trust me, you'll enjoy it." I watched all 6 seasons.
Really?
But the thing was, Lewis Hamilton, after the first season, before the first season, said, "I don't want any part of that." He goes, "I've had so much success, I don't want to let them on it." And then he saw what happened, and he's like, "All right, But that mindset always sticks out to me. Like, sometimes people don't want you to know how the sausage is made, right? Like, they just like their thing, and there's a lot of teams, and that's part of the reason why we love it so much when we do see those videos, is because you don't see it. I know you love it. That's part of the reason why you want to get in that war room, is because you see some of the conversations, and you see it more and more now with the conversations between teams. I'll give you this pick and this pick for this pick, and there's got to be so many different variables and scenarios. Like, think about it. We just talked about 19, right? Jason Light and his crew have probably gone over this times. 200 times. If this guy's here, if this guy's here,
there's more
if this guy's
scenarios
here.
than 200. There's more.
But that's what I'm saying.
Any team can call you and ask and say, "I'll give you."
As much as they practice it, there's still things that happen that you just don't know.
100% someone's going to have.
Amazing.
What if the Giants call and want to give up this, and this? Like, I didn't think about that. Now we got to think about it in the next 5 minutes.
Right.
And I usually hate football related shows. Okay, I really do, because it just looks fugazi to me, and it doesn't look right. That's why, to me, Hard Knocks is so good, because there's some reality to it. It's a little bit of orchestration, a little bit, but there's some reality to it, and some of it is very common for me. But I'm telling you, that war room scenario, like, I don't know how it's going to be. I really couldn't tell you what it looks like. I mean, I've seen a movie or whatever, and you'll see people standing there.
Did you ever watch Draft Day?
I did. I drafted him one time. It was a good movie.
I really enjoyed it.
It was a good movie.
I know people are like, oh, yeah, it's not realistic.
No,
Jason,
it was good.
You know, Jason Light watches it every year.
Does he really?
The week of the draft?
Why wouldn't he?
It's amazing.
Why wouldn't he?
It's on TikTok all the time, like
What?
Kevin Costner working
yeah.
his magic. He's like, you pancake eating motherfucker. I love that shit.
That's a good movie.
I love it. It's a good football movie. Speaking of the Browns, because that's the team he was the GM of the time, there's more and more discussion here this week. ESPN just wrote an article about DeShaun Watson, and they have the second pick, and people are wondering. It looks like Cam Ward's probably going to go to the Titans at number 1. And then the Browns are sitting there at 2. Do they go Travis Hunter? Do they go Abdul Carter? Do they draft a quarterback with Shedeur Sanders? Where do they go? But regardless of the direction that they go, Ian, it's so wild how they put all of their eggs in that one basket with DeShaun Watson. $230 million guaranteed. They traded away all those draft picks. And now Jimmy and D Haslam, the owners, like, you can't fire the owners. Like, they're sitting there at the meetings last week, like, yeah, we took it. It was a big swing and a miss. And I'm just like, yeah, no shit, man. Like, I don't know if we've ever seen a decision in sports with that type of ramifications backfire as badly because of all they invested, all the draft picks, the guaranteed money, largest guaranteed contract in professional sports. I get probably in NFL because MLB's all guaranteed. But just, man, a guy that Dabo Swinney said at Clemson was like Superman. And now, I mean, he was getting cheered as he was getting carted off the field last year. And everybody was so upset about it. Jameis was saying how upset about it, and Myles Garrett. And regardless of whether that's right or wrong, and I don't know if we've ever seen a fall quite like this.
He's fallen fast. There was a time where I thought DeShaun Watson was top 5 quarterbacks.
I don't disagree. He was
amazing.
I don't think anybody. There was no way for us to know, but DeShaun Watson was my favorite player in football.
Dude, he
I
was
watched
the year
him.
that they lost, but he was so good.
It was insane.
He was so good in losses.
And that's I watched him personally and that's why you and I speak about this a lot. Of just because you're good at this level doesn't mean you'll be good at the next level. But at the national championship game, I'm sitting there at Raymond James Stadium, and I'm just watching DeShaun Watson for the second year in a row now put up points against an Alabama defense, one of the best that we've seen. A bunch of guys you knew that were going to play on Sunday. It was like, I know it's not automatic that he's going to translate, but if I had to put my money on a guy that was going to be able to translate, Sean was that dude. And then the success that he had with Bill O'Brien and DeAndre Hopkins. Don't make light of when your team has success, because it changes like that. Now look at where Bill O'Brien is. Now look at DeAndre Hopkins. Now look at DeShaun Watson. I mean, he went from top 5 quarterback to probably one of the biggest disappointments in NFL history in a couple of years.
Well, I mean, I believe in karma. I believe in the word karma. I also believe in the football gods. I really do. Something will happen. I'll go, oh, the football gods allow that.
Right.
And DeShaun Watson signing was one. Okay? Can I give you another one? When John Gruden signed a 10-year deal with the Raiders, I go, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. He doesn't do anything for 10 years. He does something for 2 years and he blows it up, okay? Right. So both of them that I predicted blew up. The karma of picking a guy with that much baggage. And listen, whether he did whatever, they let him play. So, I mean, I'm not mad at him for getting the money. But to pick him as the first person to get an all-guaranteed contract when you have that much baggage is got to be buyer beware, doesn't it? A little bit. And
yeah, it wasn't Mahomes, it wasn't Jackson, it wasn't Josh Allen,
it was DeShaun Watson.
It was DeShaun Watson.
And coming off of all that stuff at that moment, like, you have to really, this is what I got to say about Cleveland. You got to really suck as a place when you have to give him a full, that's the only reason why he went there.
Right. Yeah, because there was a chance he was going to Atlanta.
You know you suck when you have to give somebody a fully guaranteed contract, a guy who you don't know is going to be full all in. You don't know with all that other stuff going on off the field.
Bro, we talked about it. Remember this? We talked about him coming to the Bucs. Remember that?
I don't remember that, really. I don't think I remember that.
No?
No.
Well, I went on air, and the reason why I remember this is because somebody actually called me out on it, one of my mentors, because I said that if the Buccaneers, you know, they want to sit here and get awards from Billie Jean King about all the work that they do with women, but then they want to bring Antonio Brown in here.
I do remember that. Yeah.
And then I said, well, why not go after DeShaun Watson?
Yeah.
Then? You don't really care.
Why not?
And somebody was like, well, you should, you know, your voice counts. And I appreciated the person that reached out to me. And I like that. You know, I understand that.
You're not wrong though with your statement.
No,
you know what I mean?
But I mean, just because they're okay with it doesn't mean I should be okay.
Well,
So,
you
which
kind
is
of
another part of it.
backhanded it though. You see what I'm saying? You didn't really say I'm okay with it. You said if you're going that route, why don't you?
Well, I think the way that I phrased it was, if the Bucs don't care, why should I? But
okay, that's a
little
different
different.
angle.
It was slightly
angle.
different,
Yeah.
and I should care, right? Because I am, you know, one of the voices of sports in this town. You know,
Correct.
I say that very humbly, humble brag. But yeah, DeShaun Watson is just another example of. We talk about it's a bad deal now. Why? It's a bad deal now. It's a bad deal right now, not because of what he did in Houston with Massage. Reason why it's a bad deal because he's not playing football and he's not.
That's all.
That's it.
That's it. If he was
and
playing
it's
ball,
shitty
nobody
to
would
say
care.
that, and it's kind of jacked up that's what it all comes down to. These guys are not choir boys. Just look at what some of these guys do off the field, off the ice, off the court. But man, if you can freaking score touchdowns and you can throw the ball in the hoop and you can put the puck in the back of the net and you can hit home runs, people look the other way a lot. And if DeShaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns, looked like DeShaun Watson from the Houston Texans, a lot of that stuff just goes in the background.
He doesn't.
Man. Huh?
He looks like a different human.
Doesn't even look like.
No, he doesn't look like the same
I'm
person.
I'm glad that you put it like that.
Seriously,
He doesn't. It's not that he doesn't look like the same quarterback.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like the same human being.
I don't think he is.
He's not.
He's gone through too much.
You?
He's gone now.
Can you be?
Nah. Not after the whole world is looking at you and accusing you, and you become a different person. You really do.
What was that? And obviously not on that same extent. But this is a good question to ask you. Which one of your teammates during your days with the Buccaneers was affected the most by the perception of his play during time in Tampa? Like, what guy was just, whether he was a bust or whether like he didn't play well, and they knew it. Like, to it, you know, I don't think we joke around a lot about it, JTS, but even though we joke around about it a lot, like, team is still winning, so it wasn't like he was catching a lot of heat. Like, we haven't seen that for the Buccaneers the last 10 years. But, you know, unfortunately, during the time you played, you guys had a lot more, you know, rough times and good times. Was there one player that was really affected by, you know,
on the field or off the field?
Both, you know. Was it whether it's from the media or whether it was self-imposed? Was there a guy like Charles McRae is a good?
Yeah,
was he the guy?
That's one of the names came to mind. The thing with Charles is, I like Charles as a person.
Yeah,
he wasn't a good football player. I mean, I would probably say that to his face. He probably wouldn't like it, but I would still say it to his face. But it wasn't for lack of effort, though. He really tried. Like, he just wasn't. And I will say this. A lot of people blame the athletes. Shouldn't you blame the front office for picking him so high? Because he wasn't that good. And as far as on the field goes, Keith McCants never figured it out. Never figured it out. Right. Keith McCants was drafted before Junior Seau. Junior Seau. Okay? You know how much better Junior Seau was than Keith McCants? 98,000 times. Okay, so Keith coming out of Alabama, we had Keith coming in our locker room. Keith's 6'5", 260, good-looking athlete. The two previous defensive linemen coming out of there were like Derek Thomas and like Cornelius Bennett.
He was also, you know, but it wasn't like he was nobody. He
was a great athlete.
Unanimous All-American, first team
All-SEC.
All-SEC.
Athlete, but you know what he did?
Iron Bowl MVP.
You know what he did in Alabama? He just roamed.
Yeah.
He's just a great athlete. Mm-hmm. He's not a good football player.
Big difference.
Rest in peace. He's gone. But he wasn't very physical. If you let somebody run in the middle of the field and just run around and do what they wants to, they can get a lot done. Well, you have to have them be disciplined and take on tight ends, and it's a whole different bird because he didn't have
So
it.
during their times, Keith and Charles, which one of those guys was affected more, whether it's the media saying he wasn't playing good, the fans getting on him, or just realizing that he wasn't at the level Do you see that wear on a guy when you're in the locker room?
I can see it wear on him in the huddle. Like, so with Charles, I can speak more on Charles than Keith because I was in the huddle with Charles. You could probably speak on this at a different level. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you look at somebody's eyes and you ain't got it.
Oh, right off the bat.
Okay, so
it don't take long.
Charles didn't have it. Okay, he couldn't figure it out. So if you're a baseball player and you can't hit a ball, you have a funny look at your eye. If you're an offensive tackle and you can't block the guy across from, it's a weirder look.
Right. Oh, I bet.
It's a weirder look. Like, why am I out here? It hurts, and I'm gonna get somebody killed. So
I can't imagine being in that, because I know exactly what you're saying, right? So on the hockey side, I get that aspect of it. On the baseball side, I get that. Like, there's nothing that you can do. But football's so different, man.
Football's different.
Because, like, as much as hockey's a physical sport, it's a different type of physical,
it is.
Right? Because there is a way for you to get beat in hockey where a guy just blows right by you, and, like, it's more embarrassing.
You can get through a hockey game without getting hit. That's possible. That's a very good possibility.
It's a bitch way to play the game.
No, understandable.
But you can't, as an offensive or a defensive lineman, not have contact in a game. So I can't imagine being in that position, because I play defense, so it was different for me. Like, I play defense. I couldn't go a game without hitting somebody. You don't play that way. Sure. But if you're a forward, if you're a winger, and you stay off of it, like, you could just kind of roam through. Like, look at Phil Kessel. We always Phil Kessel. Phil Kessel had as many hits in his entire career that Ryan Callahan had in one year. So I can't imagine how that is as a football player, knowing that it's not just about I'm not good enough. It's, oh shit, I can get hurt.
And I don't think it's a hurt part. I'm not cut out to be here. Like, I've never seen somebody scared to get hurt, because I don't even know what that looks like. But I have seen somebody with that look. Like, if you're going against Reggie White, I've seen it. I've seen Reggie White end people's careers. Just can't block him. That's a bad way to go. If Wayne Gretzky dekes you out, I'd rather get deked out by Wayne Gretzky than get run over by Reggie White. See what I'm saying? One guy dekes you out, you fall maybe on your keister. The other guy throws you on the back of your head, and you land on the back of the quarterback, and it looks bad, and they put you on NFL, and they put a circle around you, and all that's bad, bro. It's real, real bad. So you couldn't fake it out there, and I saw it. Listen, I saw it in quarterbacks' eyes, too. Trent Dilfer, when he was young, in his eyes, nothing good in there. I saw numerous quarterbacks in the huddle. Even Vinny, when he was young, and then I saw Vinny later on in his career, totally different person.
Some guys, totally different. So those guys were, and I think about a guy like not Derek Carr, David Carr, his brother, who got #1 overall pick for the Texans, and this guy got sacked more than anybody. And I saw him with the Giants, and I'm just like, you can't play flag football right now. I mean, and you feel for the guy, because he could play. I mean, the guy could play. He was the #1 overall pick, but you're constantly scraping your freaking carcass off of the ground. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine to be in that position where you just never figure it out. And I honestly wonder if that has after effects when your playing career is done. Right? As much as we love about Vinny Testaverde, like being able to bounce back from that, which is great, some guys don't, and then you never hear from them. And that's got to take a toll mentally, because that's your life, man. You think about it. You were good this entire time. You've always been the man, high school, college. You get to the pros. Not only do you fail, but you fail on the biggest stage. Everybody's looking at you, and then you drop off into obscurity. And what do you
I think it affects you way more while you're playing. Like, once you're done, it's over. So then you're like, damn, either I did or I didn't. While you're playing, though, listen, I was never a first-round pick. I wasn't Vinny Testaverde who won a Heisman. So Vinny Testaverde, who won a Heisman, you have to understand, had probably dominated every single level of every single sport he's ever played in his life. Then he got to the NFL, and he struggled. So that's a different...
But then then you're here.
Yeah, but
then where do you go?
But a lot of people just fail at that point. Like if Vinny Testaverde, his first 3-4 years, he just didn't have success. He couldn't have success here in Tampa.
No, but what I'm saying is that some guys never even get a chance to get over that hump.
Correct.
He did. So what is that?
He has so much darn talent. Like he had so much
But
talent.
is it more? So the way, I guess the percentages, because it's probably all of these. The way that you get over that hump, is it your physical ability? Is it your mental strength? Or is it your environment? Probably all three, right?
It's 100% all three.
Yeah.
But JTS is a great example. I watched him for 4 years, 5 years. How long many years?
4 years.
And there was never a play when I go, that's it. Not one time.
It's scary.
But not one. There wasn't one play. Vinny, every game, you're like, look. Like Vinny was talented, bro. Like when I mean talented, I mean he spun the ball like no other. He'll throw a couple balls, you're like, God damn, like crazy. And in the midst of it, there's some Jameis Winston has some crazy ball. Like seriously.
Same thing. You're
Jameis
right.
Winston, you almost can't bench him. You're like, God damn, he can make that throw?
Mm-hmm.
And the next throw, you're like, oh.
God dang, he made
like,
that throw?
He can make that throw. It ain't going to be boring for y'all this year. It won't be boring. But he's going to make 6 throws a game. You'd be like, damn.
Well, that's why he's one of the most enigmatic quarters of all time, right? I mean, you look at him and you're like,
why? Oh, that's why.
How do you go against this
That's
guy?
why.
How do you go
It's
against
a lot. I don't know. You can go against him, though, because ain't nobody betting their house he's taking nobody to the playoffs anytime soon.
No way.
Nobody. Okay? So you bringing Jameis in means you're going to have fun. But it also means you ain't going to the playoffs. Factual.
Right.
Factual.
Rays have now lost 5 in a row after their loss last night. Again, not getting into the intricacies of like the game and all that.
Thank
but
God.
How debilitating is it going to be if the Rays don't at least put forth a good showing here this summer? Because I want to get your opinion on that. I think that if they don't win, I don't think people are going to show up in the summer, man. It's going to be hot as hell. It's going to be raining at 5 o'clock. People are going to be like, I'm not going outside right now. And then if the team isn't playing well, they need to play better in the next couple of weeks, or it's going to be a long-ass summer for them.
Debating.
I don't know.
There's not a debate to that.
No, people think they're going to sell it all year long.
Well, I said, okay, listen. Okay. The place holds 12,000. If it's not sold out yet.
No, it is. It has been sold out every game.
It has been sold out?
Every game.
Okay, to this point.
Yes.
It has been sold out for the whole season.
Well, they've only played.
But
They've played 7 games at home. All 7 have been sold
what
out.
would happen if the Yankees played in 12,000 seat season? It'd be sold out for the next 55 years.
Yeah.
Okay,
They're only going to be there for 1 year.
But it should. We averaged 16,000 last year. It should have been sold out. Nobody's going to jump on the wagon in July if they're not great. Okay, they're going to be falling off. If out of the 10,000 people that have bought tickets already, if it's July and they're below 500, they ain't going. It's gonna bro. And I hate to disagree with you, Jay. I think if they win, I don't think it matters. I really don't. We won. Any other sport where you win, things happen and you get elevated. How many times do the Rays have to win for them not to be elevated at all?
But is that the difference between winning and winning a championship, though?
What?
So what you're saying is that even the effect of winning a championship wouldn't change how the people view the Rays in this town?
I mean, I think it would change it a little bit.
Not enough.
Not enough. Like when you said, if the Expos won, the World Series that year, it would have been different. Doesn't mean it would have been different 10 years from then.
Right.
See what I'm saying? It would have been different for a year or two.
We do hear that, though, certain times in sports where championships save franchises from leaving. But if they don't, it's hard. It's hard to really quantify.
Really hard. It's really hard. And if the Rays won a championship, they'd the Rays win this year, okay? I still don't think they filled the drop up, but you know what I'm saying? Like they've done it. They've done it. And as soon as the Bucs got good, the stands were filled. As soon as the Lightning got good, stands were filled. Rays been good. They've been good. It's crazy. I mean, it's just hard for me to defend. And it's not the Rays. It's the fans. It's hard for me to defend the Rays fans. Very hard for me. The same people that go down the other way to go watch their football team every Saturday, I can't go over a 2-mile bridge. Come on. If you loved your team, you wouldn't give a crap. Oh, come on. If you loved your team, you'll drive to Orlando. Oh, maybe Orlando.
No, we ain't driving.
I'm not driving to Orlando.
I think with the Rays, like I've always said, it's not the quality of issues, it's the quantity of issues. It's just there's so many games, there's so many more things to do. You don't like that the payroll's so low. You don't like the owner.
Don't the Lightning play here? A lot of things to do with the Lightning are playing too, but people.
The
still
Lightning
go.
are here, so I mean,
but
that's,
they go though. Nobody wants that. They only say that for. They only say that for the Rays.
40 games is a lot different than 80, right? 40 difference is a lot different than 80, and you're also talking about a franchise where you're only getting 18,000 people. So 18,000 people, 40 games is a lot better math than 30, 40,000 people for 80 something games. And then, all right, so that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the other part? The other part is that you have an owner that's willing to do everything. That's why I say it's not the quality, it's the quantity. Because you can ask 9 different people why you don't go to Rays games, and you'll get 9 different answers.
Maybe 15. Out of 9, you might get 15.
Right.
You might get
but
15.
we ask people why they go to Lightning games. What does everybody say?
It's a good time. It's a good product.
It's a good time.
It's beautiful.
It's
people
an
are just
event.
beautiful people.
Oh, again, I'll always go back. My buddy Matt, his wife Nicole was here a couple of years ago. She's not huge into sports, and we went to a game the night before Thanksgiving. They came down to visit, and they played Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves and the Blackhawks. Lightning won in overtime, and she walked out of the building and she grabbed my arm. She was like, "That was some of the most fun I've ever had in my life." And it was just, it was Miss Sonia. It was Greg Wolf. It was everything. Like, just walking in. She said the ushers were so nice to us. Like, that shit matters, man. An experience. And that's what the Rays need to figure out a way to do.
You gone to the Rays game?
Huh?
What's the experience of the Rays game?
Now it'll be playing outside. But it's not the environment. Like, I don't know. It's just.
This is what I think. Rays games for me, I walk a lot. This is a bad streak for me.
Yeah.
I get to the stadium. It's very sterile. It's a very sterile stadium.
Well, it's hard for somebody like myself. I was having this conversation the other day. My first memories of going to a baseball game was going to Yankee Stadium when I was 3 or 4 years old. And I can close my eyes now. It's smell the grass. Mm-hmm. You can hear the people. You can hear the voice, Bob Shepard, coming from the ground. Like, that come from. You don't get that. And I'm not hating, but you just don't get that same type of close your eyes and feel. I do that at Lightning games, especially during the playoffs, right? When Miss Sonia's like about to sing, I close my eyes and I feel the energy. You can feel there's a buzz. It's palpable. Mm-hmm. It's not the same. In baseball, when it's legit baseball, you feel that bitch on a Thursday night in fucking June. For the Rays, you only feel that on opening day or in the postseason. That is it.
That's it.
And that's the problem. That's part of the reason. And people could say that you're hating. No, it's just a reality of the situation.
It ain't hate. It ain't hate. I mean, listen, being in the media and covering the Rays.
According to media.
I was in the 620 forever, and there was the home, station of the Rays. So you had to bite your tongue a little bit. You really did. If you just, unleash on them, they're going to say, hey, let's take it easy, okay? The owners have complained about Stu Sternberg. All the other owners. So if all the other owners can complain about your owner, I can complain about our owner. Because I don't think he's about nothing. I don't think he's ever been about nothing. He's definitely never been about the city. And if to say that he wants the best for the team, who said that ever? I don't even know if they even fake that anymore. I really don't. And it's just a lot of balderdash that has been distributed throughout these years. And you look back at it now, it was just balderdash.
That's all it was.
It was just smoky balderdash, period.
And my buddy Evan Klosky from Channel 10 is on his honeymoon right now in Australia.
Congratulations.
He said it a couple weeks ago. I think I told you this. He's like, Jay, Stu has made us out to be liars.
Correct.
And I'm like,
Yep.
And he goes, think about it. Every time there's breaking news, every time there's this is going to happen and this is going to happen, it is our job in the media to talk about it.
Correct.
And you are disseminating the information that you're getting from the team to let everybody know that this is what the Rays are announcing. And now, when things like this don't happen, it makes you and I look like a liar. And I go, wow, bro, I never even looked at it like, because I'm always trying to look on one side or the other side. I'm looking at it from my opinion on what I believe and whether I believe this guy or don't. I didn't look at it as like, you're being put in a position to lie to the people that follow you, that listen to you. And that's, you could say a lot of things about a lot of teams, and you want to talk about information that you get from certain people, and it may be right, it may be wrong. It may be one of those people that think you have sources and shit like that. When you do things like that, when it's being reported as fact, people are going to blame them, but they're also looking at you as well. Like, think about that. Like, you haven't had to deal with that because you haven't worked every day, at DAE like that. But imagine if you did. Like, then you're at the end. Like, that's part of the reason I'm sure why you get pissed off of, like, do we really have to talk about the stadium issue again?
I don't get pissed off. I just don't like to waste my time. I'm being serious.
Right.
Because I was saying the same thing 10 years ago. I could have been with Ron at that time. I'm like, we're just talking about nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
They're just putting little stories out there. It's kind of like the government does. The government will put little stories out about transgender something or something else going on, and then behind it, they're doing all the shenanigans and tomfoolery, and and they do it on Friday night, so you don't really see it, That's all the Rays do. They put little feelers out there. They'll talk about this for a little bit. They'll think there's a chance that we possibly stay here. And I from the beginning of Stadium Talk to now, is how many years talk? 20-something years? Okay, but what progress have they made that has stuck?
None now.
So 0 then? Out of 20-something years, we made no progress. Everybody's like, "Why? I don't know why they don't just make us." I'm like, who's going to pay for it? You don't think that's a relevant question? It's not. Why don't they fix the stadium? Who's going to pay for it? Like, okay, St. Pete has to pay for the stadium, or else that stadium wouldn't be fixed, okay? Why don't we build a stadium in Tampa? Nobody's going to pay for it. Where's it going to go? We don't have land. It's $1 million to build a stadium. $1 billion. Mm-hmm. Come on now. You guys can go ahead and do it. This team's not going to be here when it's up. What is it, 90? It's 28?
It'll be 28 now, yeah.
They'll be gone.
Pretty crazy. Masters this week. You got a pick on who you think's going to win?
No, I probably couldn't. I'm going to take Scheffler.
Scheffler. You ain't wrong there. I'm going John Rahm.
Okay.
If you had to pick one sporting event to go to on your bucket list, and obviously it's got to be convenient for you.
Does it?
For you, yeah, of course. Listen, my vision and my question for this.
Well, my answer will be convenient for sure because we'll be a private jet.
I just wanted to preface the question to let you know that I was considerate.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Because you just said you don't like walking in the trop.
I don't.
Which is, I get it.
You know what I mean?
No, it is. No, it is. It's a long walk from the parking lot.
It is.
So if you could go to one sporting event with the amenities to your liking, where would it be?
Shock you.
The Grey Cup final.
I think I would go to a World Cup
game.
soccer game, like a finals or something.
Wow.
I got a feeling that would be just nuts. It would be. Well, for sure.
So my brother-in-law is actually getting World Cup tickets next year.
I just don't want any tickets. I want like the fine. You know what I mean?
You gotta go.
Yeah,
you gotta go to go.
Yeah. With USA against Canada. Ooh.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen. Don't do that.
I mean, they're both in it.
It's not happening.
They both qualify because
that's fine. It's not happening.
What's it called? Because there's 3 nations hosting the World Cup next year. You automatically get an entry in. So
that's
Mexico, U.S., and Canada.
No, we're not good.
Maybe the last one, but
we're not good. No, don't do that. We're not.
I felt bad because
we're not good.
Qatar was doing it, and I was like, why are they in it? Oh, they're hosting it. That's it. Okay. Qatar, what? They got mad money. You can lick off the streets.
Yeah,
it's so clean there. Trying to think what I would do. You know what I would love to do? I would love to go to the Australian Open. Tennis. Because I'm a night owl. Wimbledon's good.
Wimbledon would be good. Yeah, Wimbledon.
Masters, I mean, is a good one.
See, the Masters, they look at black folk.
Tiger changed that.
Yeah, well, he's not. What he changed? What did he change? How many black golfers since? What did he change?
No, I'm saying how people look at black golf.
Get out of here! Stop.
Harold Varner III.
Oh, just him? He's the only one. He's the only one allowed.
Isn't it crazy though how we didn't see a huge flux of black golfers?
There's not one. None.
I think that.
And VJ's not black. Sorry.
Chris is black.
Way.
No, but think about that though, because the other.
It's not that shocking though.
No, it is. No, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
It's not.
Quarterbacks, we've seen an influx, right? What's the biggest influx that we've seen? Women's tennis. There are a slew of young African-American females, Madison Keys and Sloane Stevens and Coco Gauff, that followed in the footsteps of Serena and Venus, right? So you look at that and you're like, all right, wow, there's the correlation. We haven't seen that with Tiger Woods. It's kind of crazy to me,
really.
man.
If you have an athletic brother or son, how many sports before golf is he?
No, but what's the most important thing for golf in order for you to be able to play it?
Concentration. Money.
You have to be affluent.
Oh, that was coming next. Right? That was coming next.
But what I'm saying is that
tennis too, though.
Okay,
not as much.
That's the thing. But we didn't have that though on the men's side.
Didn't have what?
Since Arthur Ashe, have we had a really dominant African American male in tennis?
That's not. We don't do that too much.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. But why does it happen on the girls' side then? Happens on the girls' side. We had all these black.
I just think because there's not as many sports to choose from. If you talk about sports that make a lot of money, tennis is at the top for women. Tennis is not on top for men.
No, it is.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot.
We just don't have it.
There's not a lot.
There's not a lot of people doing it. There's not a lot of people doing it. There's money there.
Okay, but
money there.
But how many people in the United States are making a good living in tennis? 20.
The women are.
Men.
You're talking about the men?
20.
Yeah, not as many.
Well, there's 50-something on every football team. Got a better chance over there. You know what I mean? Scholarships and everything.
But I'm just surprised. Tennis. I am surprised now, thinking about it. I understand what you're saying about
a brother doesn't want to be in a golf locker room or a tennis locker room. He doesn't.
But if you can make money, man,
that's a lot.
You can say the same thing about Tiger, though. Tiger going into it.
Okay, but
there's somebody that came before.
You ever hear Tiger stories? Not great.
No, I understand that. But
think about 15-year-old kid.
But Ian, it's money, man. You can make some.
It ain't money at 15. It's not. You know what else is not happening? There ain't no bitches out there.
Got money, man.
No, man. No.
Jay.
No. When you're 15, you want to do what the bitches are doing. You want to go. You want to dunk the basketball. You want to score a touchdown. Nobody's watching you swing and get a birdie. Nobody.
But if you can make millions of dollars that and you have a talent,
it doesn't mean that. You play sports for love and women.
You're comparing it to the other sports. I'm with you on that. Mm-hmm. But my thing is that there's got to be the fact that there's none. It's not even
it's too much effort for a black man. I'm just telling you, it's too much. It's too much. Your father have to be totally into that, and that doesn't happen. There's not that many brothers that are that much into golf.
What we're talking about influence, right? How influence changes over the years, right? I'm sure that when you have quarterbacks like Randall Cunningham and Warren Moon, guys like that kind of set the table down, Doug Williams setting the table down the line, right? There weren't a lot of kids thinking that they could play quarterback in the NFL, right? They had to play all the.
It wasn't because they weren't talented; they weren't allowed.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It's always about circumstance, right? Mm-hmm. The fact that there aren't any younger black golfers that have come up through the ranks, even if they weren't good, you can't tell me that there's no black kids that grew up during the time of Tiger Woods, even ones in more affluent neighborhoods that didn't look up and say, "I want to be Tiger Woods."
They couldn't, though. You can't.
You can.
You can't.
I don't think you could say you can't. Why can't you?
Because Tiger Woods had the access to golf courses, whatever he wanted. You have to have a lot of money. You have to have a lot. You know how many golf balls you lose. You know what clubs you need. You got to be at the range every single day. You don't have time. Your black parent is not driving you to the golf course all the time. He doesn't know anything about it.
You got to give more credit. No, you got to give more credit to black parents.
Why do I have to give more credit when there's zero? There's zero.
But that's what I'm saying.
We're picking from zero.
That's my point.
So I'm telling you why.
But you're telling me that there's no black parents out there with money that have
clearly because there's no black golfers. Clearly.
But that's my point, Ian. The fact that there is none, that there isn't any parents out there, because there are black parents with money out there, but they just didn't go down the road of playing golf.
So where would golf lineage, where that coming from? There's no lineage with black golfers unless you're Calvin Pete's son.
But you could say that about baseball before Jackie Robinson.
But once again, they were not allowed to play. They were still great. They weren't allowed to play.
I don't know if they weren't allowed to play. He was just the guy that stepped in there and took all the abuse. He was welcome. I don't know if he wasn't allowed.
Well, blacks weren't allowed to play before Jackie Robinson.
He just went up in there.
He weren't allowed to play.
He went up in there.
They finally let us play.
Let us.
Yeah, us.
You're Canadian.
Oh, it was real good. Oh, man.
So you're not surprised at all that not even one black player, not even black golfer.
No, I'm just not.
I wish.
I'm just not. Because I'm picturing Chamberlain. I'm picturing one of the kids going, I'm on the golf team. I just doesn't. doesn't he?
You're talking about Chamberlain.
Okay, let's talk Plant. I'm on the golf team, so I'm the quarterback on the football team. Nobody's talking to the
But
golfer.
again, you're comparing sports. I'm not comparing
what school
sports.
then? What school other than Wake Forest is that impressive? And it's not even that impressive.
It's not. You're talking about impressive. I'm not talking about comparing it between. It's not a.
So why do kids play sports? To be cool.
I didn't play
Yeah,
sports
they do.
to be cool.
Yes,
I played
you
sports because
did.
I loved it.
Nah, you played sports to be cool too.
Yeah, but Ian,
nothing's about. It's cool
you
when
know
you hit
how
a
many,
home run. It's cool when you knock.
But Ian, you know how many of these people? Well, Christian McCaffrey, did he play sports to be cool? He didn't hang out with his friends.
Sure.
He look at what Christian McCaffrey did look at what Ed McCaffrey did to Christian McCaffrey. He had no friends, no girlfriends, no nothing. He had no life in high school. He doesn't play sports to be cool. He plays sports because he loved it. He wanted to be an NFL player. Now, did he want all the stuff after that? Yes. But I don't think every single kid plays sports because he thinks it's cool or he wants to be cool.
It's kind of cool to score touchdowns.
It is, but you're an offensive lineman, so what the hell would you know about that?
I scored a lot of touchdowns.
When?
I played running back when I growing up, brother.
What age did that stop? 6?
I ran the ball all the way through 17.
Really?
12 to 17, absolutely.
So what was that type of school?
What type of school?
What do you call high school?
I played city leagues football.
You were the running back?
I was played fullback on occasion. When I was 12 and 13, I played running back. And 14.
Heard you would like to be center.
I've never played center. I was
never?
terrible. No, I'm bad at it. Can't do it. My hands are too messed up and they're not big enough.
Surprising. A guy that loves to bend down like that.
You got jokes.
Oh, man.
You got jokes.
I don't know why it's more fascinating to me.
What?
When the lack of Tiger Woods influence.
I mean, everybody thought it was going to happen. It certainly did not. It certainly did not.
Didn't at all.
It diminished. It got lower. Like when Tiger started, like Calvin Pete, at least there's nobody.
But that's what I'm saying.
There's nobody anymore.
Fact, it's not that there's not a lot.
Zero.
That's my point. Going back to this whole thing, that's my point.
But I had this conversation with somebody the other day. They're like, well, Tiger Woods did so much for black golf. I'm like, what? What do you mean? They go, what do you mean? I go, there's none. Zero. That's none.
It's amazing. Usually you would think like, oh yeah, there's some stragglers, blah,
well,
blah,
there's
blah.
certain things we don't really do curling. We don't bowl. No, we don't. Black people don't bowl.
Mookie Betts bowled the
300.
300.
No, but we're not professional bowlers.
Okay.
If you're good enough to bowl 300, we do something else.
Yes.
You're a baseball player or something. You know what I'm saying?
Chris Paul's a good bowler.
Once again, one of the best point guards of all time.
He's like, we ace your hobbies.
Yeah,
maybe that's what it is.
What's that?
I guess Steph Curry's a good golfer. That's what it is.
Of course he is.
I think we got it now.
Steph
I think
Curry
we figured it out.
Well, put it this way.
I think we figured out how to rank sports. We really did.
How?
If you can moonlight if you can bowl a 300 and not be a professional, then you're definitely level 2.
You're a great athlete. You're a great athlete.
No. What I'm saying is that if you can bowl a 300 and not be a bowler every day, like if you're not Norm Duke and you're Mookie Betts and you can bowl a 300.
You don't know how much you can bowl, so.
Clearly not enough.
No, he doesn't bowl every day.
No, but here's what I'm saying. You can't be a guy that hits 40 home runs if you don't play baseball every day.
No, that's a fact.
You can't rush for 1,000 yards, catch for 1,000 yards unless you play football every day. The apex of being a bowler is bowling 300. There's nothing better than that, right? And the fact that a guy that doesn't do it all the time can do that, I think levels down your sport.
Nobody's coming on a golf course and making up putts. Nobody.
If you're a scratch golfer and you don't golf every day and you're a professional in other sports, I think it might take you down.
Take you down?
Take it down a notch. It's one of the hardest games to play, the most humbling. But you don't see...
What's the most humbling game?
Golf.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But you don't see Phil Mickelson going out there and hitting freaking 450-foot bombs on the baseball field.
I bet he could play baseball, though.
Maybe.
I bet he could.
Like Baker hit a home run.
I bet a lot of these great athletes in other sports, like a lot of people like that, I bet he would be out of sport. If you have that hand-eye coordination, I bet he's great at tennis.
I remember Steven Stamkos taking BP one time. I was like, he just hit like 12 line drives in a row. And then Ben Bishop hit a home run. Like,
crazy, man. I mean, I remember when Rick Odioso asked me to play on the softball team. He goes, "Did you play baseball growing up?" I go, "Yeah." I just said, "Yeah." And then, so I don't know why they put me at shortstop, but I shouldn't be at shortstop. And the ball was hit to my right, and I cross-handed it and jumped and threw it across my body. I never done it in my life. And Rick looks at me and he goes, I said, yeah, I told you I played a lot of baseball. Then I went up to bat, and I swing the bat, and I didn't even feel it hit the ball. And I run around and get a home run, right? And everybody's staring at me. I go, what? Well, I hit the top of the fence. I hit the top of the fence at Phillies Stadium with a softball.
Jeez.
So,
yeah.
play baseball now.
Pro athletes really are
they're
just
a little
on a different level, right?
Yeah. And, like, I was talking about this on Mike Cowper's show the other day. Like,
how's Mike doing?
Mike's doing good. They're all heading out in their cruise.
Are you going?
No, I'm not going. Dizzy and Johnny B made the cut this year. I didn't make the cut.
Wow. Who's hosting the show?
Nobody. They're doing best of.
Oh.
I was supposed to do it, but you know how radio goes. Because everybody in radio is going on the cruise.
Oh.
So there was nobody really in case something goes wrong. And I don't really want to deal with that anyway.
Yeah, so you just said it and forget.
Yeah, but I was saying, listen, my whole life I've competed in a lot of stuff. And I've won at a high percentage.
Yeah.
I don't like to lose a lot. If I lose a lot, I will stop doing it. Or I'll figure out a way to win. That's just been me my whole life. I never do something continuously that I lose. I won't do it because it'll drive me nuts. There's not everybody. I don't think everybody's like that. Like I lose sleep over sports. Like when I used to golf. Like, I used to think about stuff all the time, like, how can I get better? How can I get better? And I used to almost couldn't sleep. It drove me nuts. Never school, though. School never did that to me. Just sports. Just sports. All of them, though.
Video games? Brother gets real pissed.
Like, NCAA, I'm like, I don't like, if I lose, it bothers me 2, 3, 4 days sometimes.
Inconsolable.
I'm telling you,
that's why I haven't seen Josh here in 3 weeks.
I would beat Josh's back in right now. In NCAA, I'm nasty.
Who's your team?
Alabama.
Alabama?
Nasty. Heard me?
Jalen Milroe.
Nasty.
Milroe, right?
Yeah, he can't throw the ball well, but can I tell you something?
At all, huh?
I run that pill now.
Every time.
I choke that pill.
Every time.
Every time.
All right, it's going to wrap it up for us this week on the Beckles and Recher podcast. A big shout out to Chris Fraley and Tom Ponzo. And you make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. At Ian_Beckles, at J Recher. Ian joins me every Monday on the J Recher podcast at 12:30. So we're getting closer and closer to the NFL draft. Buccaneers pick at 19. So next week, the week after, that's when the draft is. So shall see.
Yeah,
what do you guys got coming up at the cafe this week?
This week we have a best blunts of the Bay competition on Saturday, 8 o'clock. You good at rolling blunts?
Her name is what?
Indica Fetish. I'm going up against Indica Fetish. She got some nice toes.
She got some nice toes. And she got a lot of other stuff on video that Ian was showing me. Yeah,
don't worry about all that.
No, I'm saying they should worry about that because, that's the kind of entertainment that you see here at the Dignitary Cafe.
We entertain folks.
4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. Come check us out here. Get your kava, get your kratom on. If you've never tried it before, come on out. Try it from the... heart of a pepper plant.
Yeah.
Heart of a pepper plant.
I see you. The root of a pepper plant.
The roots. I like the heart.
The heart
of a pepper plant. And they got all kinds of botanical
plants
teas.
have hearts now.
They got cigars.
Plants have hearts now?
They got some nice, what do you call them? Oh, swishers.
Swiss
Black and Miles and swishers.
You know how we do it.
All right, it's going to wrap it up for us. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week. The Beckles and Recher podcast.